Hey, it's Celia on the record with Mannequin Pussy at WNXP. Wow, it feels good to say that into a microphone. For real, for real. Can you introduce yourselves real quickly? Because we got full band playing some songs in here, but want to chat with you for a second.
I'm Maxine.
I'm Missy.
And I'm Bear.
Welcome to Nashville.
And Kayleen, our drummer, is just behind there. And Carolyn, our fifth auxiliary player / tour manager extraordinaire, is also behind there.
Lots of hats.
Yeah.
Tour momager for sure. Yeah.
Momager. Well, you sounded great. And of course, you're here because you're touring through Nashville. We're really grateful to have you. But we've been playing the hell out of I Got Heaven on WNXP. You got to play some tracks that we can't always play on the radio, but we're loving the record so much. So can we go to some source material first? Because I've read that multiple band members had breakups that kind of filtered into the stuff on the record. And can we just go there first? Let's just go there first.
I had a breakup. I mean, I started transitioning shortly before medically transitioning. Yeah, it was a really intense time when we started this. I think about it. But yeah, I went through a breakup. Missy went through a breakup.
I had a breakup.
Bear went through a breakup.
I went through a breakup.
But this is not a breakup record.
No.
But the
By
things
any
that you were
means.
able to channel through the making of the record, you were able to do it at the same time.
It was kind of one of those bursts of awareness of wow, a breakup is such a gift. It just purges things from your life that need to be purged. It allows you the space and time of independence to really kind of center back yourself, to focus your energies on something without the distractions of what someone else needs you to be for them. And I think specifically, the three of us kind of found ourselves in similar-ish situations at the same time where we were all okay, I guess we're digging into each other and the work.
So it's like a view from the other side, not mid throes of, but
No.
I can breathe a little bit.
Yeah, Patience was a breakup record for sure, but this was just a...
This almost is in a way is you won't even let yourself get to a breakup later. You're just not, it's about you. It's about yourself, kind of falling in love with yourself and sticking it out.
Yeah. Not going to break up with ourselves ever. That one sticks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wish I could.
Well, same. But I mean, I think with this record, whether it's breakup record or not, it does channel a lot of the softness and the aggression that's been sort of core to your sound. And so, I wondered emotionally when you were making it, did anything come back up that, you were able to push into the songs that gives it that balance? Maybe John Congleton helped with that. I feel like I've heard you say, he was able to pull things out of you in some cases tearfully, in some cases raucously.
I mean, he didn't make us cry or anything. I just happened to be crying about, there's a point when you're in making your record where you it's really the middle of it. And you're just is this all shit? Is this what is this? I can't really see it yet. You're too deep in the weeds. And he was just, he's just really wonderful, kind of friend and mentor in that moment and in many moments. But as to your question, what were we playing? I mean, there's a lot of, this is not a society that's particularly kind to people who choose to be independent. This is not a society that's particularly kind to people who really kind of choose to go it their own way or to make their own path. There's a lot of kind of very harsh external judgments that come from living a life that is really unlike the people around you. And, I think for any kind of creative person or any artist, I think can really, deeply understand what it means to go your own way and to actually be building your own path towards something, and that kind of resolve that comes from I'm not going to quit, or you're just never going to stop doing this thing that makes you feel so alive. And I kind of felt at the transitions that we were all in was that one constant was just that we all want to be in each other's lives and we all want to make music together. And so it was really, I feel a very deep channeling of that energy between us.
Going it alone, but together.
Exactly. DIT is what we say. It's no longer DIY. It's not do it yourself. It's DIT. It's do it together.
I love that. Any other memories you want to share about recording and working with John? I'm just fascinated because he's worked on so much different sounding stuff, and it's nice to know that you felt like he was an encourager in chief, it sounds like, but also sonically, like what experiences did you have getting these songs just the way you wanted them on record?
I feel like John really kind of like was really, really helpful in terms of like, we would kind of have like the song written and just like, I think of like an example of like when we had like Of Her, and it was like, okay, like the way I started, I was like very like kind of knucklehead, like 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's like, instead of starting with like on the 3 of the riff where it's the ba-na-na-na-na-na-na, like I was just going to start it like ba-na-na-na-na-na-na. I feel like he took like a lot of like kind of our ideas and kind of helped like materialize them into something that like made maybe more sense. But yeah, I feel like John's just incredible engineer and producer. He works super fast. Which I think is really important because it helps kind of catch the energy. A lot of time in the studio when you're like sitting around a lot and you're kind of just like, oh, you have this idea, but it takes forever to get to it or whatever. It just kind of like loses momentum. And John, it's very like, it's all go, go, go. The record was like really live. I mean, obviously with overdubs and stuff, but like the core skeletal tracks are all live. It's just, I think that John, like, there's a million ways you could make a record, and John like knew how to capture a Mannequin Pussy record and make it something that made sense for everyone. I think.
Yeah. Did you feel like he was like applying not pressure, but like some love, some zhuzh per instrument too? Like even that detailed, despite the pace?
I mean, I think it was all around. Like, I would almost say like he just knows how to like be a chameleon, where like I feel like every artist that he's worked with, like, because before walking into it, I was like, he's worked with so many different people. But I think what's the magic part about him is that he allows you to be yourself for so much of it before he even like includes his ideas, because he's really just kind of like trying to see like, how do you guys work as a band, and then just fine tune it to like keep it all our ideas and make sure that, mostly I would say feel good about them, because I think it's easy to be like, I don't think this is going to work. And he's like, actually, it rules. And he's like, you should just like keep going with that and, don't be afraid of it. So he really did a lot of that to just keep us focused and mostly on ourselves. Like, the whole album explains just that. Like, we did it together, but it's about individuality. And he did that. He saw us as individuals and was like, do you, and I'm just gonna get that, capture that. Yeah,
I love that. I had a producer say recently, excuse me, that it's easier to work with a band, and of course it's more fruitful and more fun too for a producer if they know who they are. Like, you don't have to be like, this is a creation story. Mannequin Pussy knows Mannequin Pussy, but it's like per album, per track, what can you do to make it just what you want? I love that. You've just started a tour at the time we're recording this, and you're saying these are brand new songs that you're playing in front of an audience. But again, I just think about like what you're putting into it and putting out. The screamy songs we did a couple times. How are you taking care of yourselves on the road? Has that changed over the course of multiple albums? Do you have different tips and tricks?
Oh yeah, I feel like everything has changed. But speaking for me personally, like I'm horrifically boring on tour now, and I wish I didn't have to be. Like I wish I could go have fun. But I can't, because I have to maintain. Am I allowed to swear?
Yeah.
I have to maintain this fucking voice for like 6 weeks on the road, and it just like it sucks. Like I really do think that being a singer is like not that much fun. I love writing melodies. I love writing lyrics. I love writing songs so much, but live singing is like very intense, and just like our set is just intense on all of our bodies and like what it means to be traveling. So like, I've had to quit smoking, quit drinking, quit really talking. Like sometimes it's like I used to enjoy, maybe going out to see a friend, get dinner before the show or something, but I'm like, I just have to preserve my voice. And it just sounds so like part diva, part like lame bitch, but it's just what you have to do. And I've like finally accepted it into my heart that there's just these things that will make my life easier. But I think we've all gotten really a lot better at like learning how to take care of ourselves in the road. And I think that's like one of the beautiful things about this band too, is just like how close we all are to each other as well. It's like I think everyone's really good at just seeing each other, like seeing when someone needs space, seeing when they maybe need a hug, seeing when they like need someone to check in. And I don't know, it's a very like, we're like a traveling, commune cult.
It sounds like there's accountability there, right? So it's like you've made decisions for yourself. Okay, I know this is my instrument. I have to protect it. But it's not like you feel like you're the odd duck now. Everybody's made conscious decisions as you grow as a band. I love that.
Yeah, everyone has to. And I feel like a lot of that like responsibility of like, I'm not just to them to like, be able to deliver, but like to an audience, like you want to be able to be, like when you're talking about a 6-week long tour, you're talking about trying to be on the top of your game for 34 shows, which is actually impossible. Like you're not going to feel that way for every show, but you don't want them to know it. You don't want them to know that maybe inside you're suffering.
Every night's best show tour according to the audience that sees you.
Exactly.
Hopefully.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's what they deserve.
Yeah. Well, it is such a joy to be able to say all the words because of the internet. We have chosen as a public radio station, and I'm like, knowing kids are in the car on the way to school, to call you Mannequin P. We've gotten so used to saying that as shorthand.
Oh.
I know. It is what it is, but we play the songs. We love the songs. But I wondered too, thinking about my colleague who's like, all their emails go to spam. Like you guys are trapped in spam folders. Can you give some quick hit, like pros and cons of embracing your name, sticking to your name, and like what that's meant for you guys?
Pros that were unforgettable. I don't think that Mannequin Pussy is a name that someone hears and then forgets. Like for better or for worse, they remember that. Cons definitely is censorship is an issue. I think people's judgments are also kind of an issue. Like not in a con way, because I think there's also something about the band where like it just immediately separates people who are just inherently open-minded and more curious about language and reclamations and like what something could possibly mean. Like there's a sense of one's own imagination in a band like that versus someone who immediately is like, that is a stupid band name and I will never listen to that band name. Like what that says to me is that you are just a closed-minded individual. You're probably a stick in the mud. You're probably a square. You're probably no fun at fucking parties. If you hear the name Mannequin Pussy and you're like, that's a terrible band name, like go fuck yourself. And
it's a good gatekeeper. You're like, you're not going to like the songs. Yeah. You don't like the band name. Exactly.
Like there are a lot of people actually who are like, I wish, it's like embarrassing to tell people. And it's like, why? I think that's what's so interesting about language is that there are these words that just have these like immediate reactions in one's body. And then it's like doing the work to trace back, well, why? Why does that make me feel uncomfortable? Why is it that like, why about these words? That to me is interesting, at least.
Any tough Thanksgiving conversations with aunts, uncles? Okay.
No.
Really unscathed. No. It's really just the spam folder. That's the only con.
Yeah, my mom will be like, Mannequin, she won't say the next word just to be like, you know what I'm talking about, right? And I'm like, yeah, go ahead, Mom. Like, yeah, we're doing fine, but rest of the but once, I don't know, the Rolling Stones stuff happened, it was just like, here you go, Mom, you can say the word. Look, they're saying it. Like, it's not that deep.
I think my mom, like, she's, it's like the old Mother's Day sketch where it's like, my daughter's in Mannequin Pussy, and now it's like my daughter's in Mannequin Pussy. Like,
my daughter's
in a band called Mannequin Pussy.
My daughter's.
Does that make you uncomfortable?
Yeah,
like
more authoritative.
Yeah. I think it's cool for them. I think slowly our mothers have loved it. My mom would be very into us being called Mannequin Party. Which I think is also like Mannequin P. I understand like why it's the shorthand for it, but that sounds urinal to me, so I don't love it. But yeah, like Mannequin Party, Mannequin Puppy, that's like our eventual kids album band. Spam is tough. But online, just like technology is really tough too, because the place where we're at of like this, this intersection of technology and just our own kind of like humanistic reactions to things is that we are programming human biases into algorithms. And so we have to then kind of like assert ourselves in these very particular moments where we need to not be censored because there's absolutely no reason for us to be censored as artists. And so we've had a few few kind of like just like legal things that our Epitaph, our label, and like our lawyers have had to tackle with like Amazon and Alexa and TikTok and all these different platforms. And like ultimately we've come up on top. We've been able to get these algorithms changed in our favor, but it's something that we have to be like very hyper aware of and then hyper vigilant to make sure that we're not kind of being, banned outright.
I would love to go to a media law class where you guys guest lecture, because I feel like you got stories to tell already. You've been through it and in it, and still changing, like you said. So
there's a Supreme Court case from 1973 called Miller versus California, which is the Supreme Court case that is the definition of what obscenity is, and something is only obscene and thus should be censored if it lacks inherent artistic, intellectual, cultural, or societal value.
Right.
And so.
And we agree that this has cultural and societal value.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here. Mannequin Pussy. I'll just say it as many times as I can get away with, I guess. Be safe on tour. Thanks so much for stopping in Nashville.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.